I know this is going to sound rude and inappropriate, but I didn't know that Make-A-Wish kids grew up.
One time I went on a date with a Make-A-Wish kid, and it was definitely like in my top 10 of worst dates, perhaps of all time. It was a complete and utter nightmare, but like kind of in the exact way you would imagine it is. So we were 18, or at least I think I was 18. He was like 19 or 20. We were in college though, and I knew going into it. He was completely bald, but he said he was like cancer-free and past it. And I got it. As someone who has multiple family members and immediate family members who have all like either gotten cancer or passed of cancer, like this was not an unfamiliar topic to me. So while it was like the elephant in the room, it was kind of the only thing this kid talked about it. And I get it, because that had probably been his entire life up until that point. So I gave him a lot of leeway there. But he was telling me about how he was a Make-A-Wish kid. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, I've never met a Make-A-Wish kid before, and I want to know more. He was telling me that he got diagnosed really young, and they said it was really bad, right? So they gave him a Make-A-Wish. You know, he wanted to use it when he wasn't quite as sick. So he saved it to go, and because he wanted to go to Japan or something, he went on some sort of an international trip with it, is what he said. There were a lot of strange holes in his story here and there that made me question the validity of it, but like, weird thing to lie about, you know? Like, yeah, I didn't know you could save wishes for many years, like they had rollover minutes or whatever, but I'm not an expert. That wasn't the real issue on the date. The issue was that, and I understand, like, cancer had been his whole life up to that point, but that was, like, what he had branded himself as. It is all that he talked about, to the point that he was, like, acting very arrogantly when we would, like, because we were walking around a mall, right? The date was at a mall. We were going to get food, walking and talking. But he was acting very entitled to things, and he would, like, bring it up to try and get things. Like, he thought that he could get free food and free stuff. And I'm also like, buddy, you don't have cancer anymore. Like, you can't keep playing the cancer card. You said you're cancer free. I don't mean to sound harsh, but like, you made it to the other side. You're gonna have to develop a personality outside of having cancer at this point. But he was just, in general, really rude the entire date, and he just kind of like talked and bragged about himself the whole time. Which I can fully empathize that, like, yeah, as the kid with cancer in your family, like, you've probably been the number one focus of your family for most of your life. So I can see where that developed, but like, this is a date. You're gonna have to ask me a question at some point here, sir. He really kept like trying to make moves, and then when they didn't land, you know, he would like circle back to the cancer thing, and it felt like the whole time he thought he was entitled to me like getting with him because he had had cancer. And in the end, he threw kind of like a toddler temper tantrum that I didn't want to get with him. It was all very strange, and needless to say, I never reached out to him again after that date.
It sounds like you had high hopes for a respectful, meaningful date, but ended up in an incredibly awkward situation. It's understandable to have empathy for his experiences, but there's a line between sharing and oversharing, especially when it feels like someone's using their past to get special treatment. Trying to navigate that while maintaining boundaries must have been a challenge.